Hey guys, how have you guys been doing? Well, I'm doing very good today. So welcome back to my. So today, guys, I'm gonna do an episode ranking from best to worst from the newest live action Goosebumps TV series reboot from 2023 for 2025. I reviewed both of the seasons, and so I really like the show. I didn't think it was that bad. I actually enjoyed it. And so today I'm gonna do an episode ranking from best to worst from the newest live action Goosebumps TV series reboot from 2023 for 2025 and season 1 for season 2 The Vanishing. And so now let's rank them. So first, I'm going to start off with the best episodes of the show from Goosebumps Season 1 from 2023. So this show, I thought it was pretty good. I know a lot of people hate the show, but I don't actually hate it. I didn't think it was that bad. I actually enjoyed the show for what it's trying to do, and I thought they did pretty good at like adopting the stories and all that stuff, and they had a lot of character arc and development and all that stuff, and I actually pretty much enjoyed it, and I thought it was pretty good. So let's get into the best episode. Yeah. So let's get into the best episodes of the show. The first one is episode 1, Say Cheese and Die. I thought it did pretty good at like introducing the whole show with doing like a whole introduction back to 1993 to Harold Biddle, and he had the haunted camera, and he had all the objects from all the Goosebumps books, and and he died in the fire, and then it come to 2023, come to meet all the characters. It was Isaiah, James, Margot, Lucas, and Isabella. The first episode was about Isaiah. Yeah, I thought this one did pretty good at adopting like the Say Cheese and Die haunted camera storyline. So Isaiah found the Polaroid camera. He took pictures of Margot and Allison. So Allison got attacked in the woods by the ghost of Howard Biddle. And Margot got peanut allergy. So on the field, Isaiah saw the ghost of Harold Biddle. So I thought this episode did pretty good at telling a story about the haunted camera. And I know that this show, I know it wasn't like the original. I know it wasn't. I know they didn't want to do that though. I know this show was started by Disney Plus and Hulu, and Sony and Scholastic. And so this episode, I rated 5 out of 5 stars. I thought it was pretty good. The second episode, The Haunted Mask, I thought it did pretty good at telling a story about Isabella Chen Lopez, the haunted mask girl, the internet troll girl. I thought it did pretty good. I know the design of the mask, it wasn't like the original, but I thought the design of the mask was pretty good. Yeah, I thought it did pretty good. And it can like whisper, and it can like and it can control you, turn you evil. Remember what happened in the original? That Curly Beth, she put on the haunted mask and she couldn't get it off. So Isabella was just like Curly Beth. She put on the mask and she couldn't get it off. So she got the love from her brother. Yeah, I got her to take off the mask. The love from her brother. so, so this episode I rated 4.5 out of 5 stars. I thought it was a pretty good episode. Pretty good episode. So now it's Cuckoo Clock of Doom. You probably recognize this one from the 90s. Yes, the original episode. The character in the 90s episode was Michael. This one, the character's name is James. So we went back to the costume party, to the Halloween party, to the drinking party they had at the Biddle house. Episode 2 did have a backstory as well from back at the Biddle house. This one has another backstory. It's a James. So at the party, it was a Groundhog Day, and James bumped his head on the clock, and he got sent back to the same night of the drinking party, and he created all these evil, dupe versions of himself. It's like trap James in a cave. Yeah, they trap him in an old mine. And, so I thought it was pretty good at telling a story about the dupe James and all that stuff, the James clones and all that stuff. And, so I rated this episode 5 out of 5 stars. I thought it was a pretty good episode. And it's Go Eat Worms. This one is Lucas. Yes, Lucas, the Daredevil kid. And his father, he likes to ride motorcycles and all that stuff. And you probably recognize this from the original. Yeah, the original. The old episode, I didn't really like that episode. This one, I thought this one was better than the original episode, than the original story and all that stuff. I thought it was better than the original. That's my opinion. I thought it did a pretty good story telling how Lucas was like a daredevil like his father, and that his mom Nora was the cafe shop owner, and so this is about the worms had pretty cool abilities of possessing people, and like the English teacher in the show, Nathan Bratt. Nathan was possessed by Herod Biddle in 8 episodes. So there was all the parents and all that stuff. There was Ben, Eliza, Victoria, Nora, and Sarah. So I know what happens to Nora at the end of this episode. She gets locked in the mental hospital. And yeah, I know, because she tried to tell all the parents that Biddle was back, but they didn't believe her, so they locked her in a mental hospital. I don't know, and they locked her in a mental hospital for her mom. They threw his mom in a mental institution for drugging Nora. So this episode, give it a 5 out of 5 stars. This story was better than the original one from the 90s. Yeah, this one was better than the original. It did a pretty good telling a different story and all that stuff. So next one is Night of the Living Dummy. Well, this one never got adopted in the 90s Goosebumps TV show, but this one, it got adopted. But it told a whole backstory of slapping. I thought this one did a pretty good origin story back to slapping and Biddle and the family and all that stuff. And so it first started off in 1920, back to Nathan's grandfather, Abraham. He was a musician. He found Sloppy and he performed with Then he found out that he was using him just to commit crime, so he can bring Kondu back to life. Kondu, we did learn something about him later on in the show, which is I did in season 1 review. Yes, I did. Yes, I did the plot twist. Yes, we did the plot twist. We learned about the review of Kondu and all that stuff. There was 1993 in Harry Biddle, and Harry Biddle he found Sloppy in the wall that Abraham had got him into. And then Sloppy controlled Biddle. And the parents, they accidentally killed him. Yeah, Ben, Eliza, Victoria, Nora, and Sarah. And they took the suitcase out of the house, and they accidentally killed Biddle, and so I thought I did a pretty good Sloppy backstory and all that stuff. So I rate this episode 4.5 out of 5 stars. I did pretty good telling the backstory of Sloppy. Then You Can't Scare Me. That was episode 8. I know, in season 1 there were 10 episodes. I know. I thought this episode did pretty good on concluding the Harry Biddle plot line, the Harry Biddle storyline. So, yes, I thought it did a pretty good episode to end the whole Harry Biddle plot line. I know, and then after that one, we don't get to see him ever again. We don't get to see Biddle ever again after all this. So I rated 5 out of 5 stars. Episode 9, Nine Live Dummy Part 2. Yes, this is where we get to learn something about with Sloppy, because I said that in season 1 review, that we learned something about him. Is that Sloppy was never actually the dummy named Sloppy. The sorcerer named Kondu was inside of the dummy's body the whole time. Yeah, because Nathan wrecked the coffin. He'd bring the coffin home to his house, and then Nathan set the spell. Then Kondu's spirit reanimated from the casket. Kondu was the sorcerer, and all that stuff. Kondu, he reanimated from the casket. Kondu reanimated, and then he turned Isaiah's father Ben into a dummy, and then so about this one, it's a pretty good plot twist of Kondu and all that stuff. Kondu was a great villain and all that stuff, and so fun? Yes. So I rate this episode 4.5 out of 5 stars. It's a pretty good episode. My last favorite episode in the show was Welcome to Horrorland, episode 10. Yo, I thought the story of Kondu was so cool, man. My favorite episodes were Sage Doesn't Die, The Haunted Mask, when Cuckoo, Doom, Go Eat Worms, Don't Let Me Dummy, You Can't Scare Me. Sage and Giant, The Haunted Mask, Cuckoo of Doom, Don't Let Me Dummy, You Can't Scare Me, Don't Let Me Dummy Part 2, and Welcome to Horrorland were like my favorite episodes. This one I thought it did a pretty good story of telling a backstory of Kondu. But back in 1819, Kondu was a soldier from the 1800s, and then he got shot, and then he found a wall with inscriptions on it. And then Condu reads one which undoes the blood healing from 1879. And then Condu becomes immortal. Condu becomes a sorcerer. Condu. He meets Franz Bahar, and then Bahar trapped his spirit into the dummy. He trapped the spirit into the dummy. So Sloppy actually never was Sloppy in season 1 of Goosebumps. He actually was Condu. Oh, right, it was. And so in present timeline, Condu turns people into dummies by creating illusions and all that stuff. Condu. Oh, look. Turns people into dummies. He creates a wooden towering spire, and then he's about to burn 1,000 people on the towering spire. Now Condu wants to bring back like monsters and like demons and ghouls and all that stuff into the world. So again, this episode did a pretty good story of telling of Condu and all that stuff. Condu was a great antagonist in season 1. He did pretty good. They did pretty good at telling a story of Condu. It's pretty good. So I rate this episode 5 out of 5 stars. It was pretty good. So in season 2, there was The Vanishing. Yeah, season 2 had different cast of characters. They switched it all. And I thought season 2 was pretty good as well, and this is the first season. And so let's get into the best episodes again. My first one has to be Still in the Basement. I thought this did pretty good at telling a story about the 4 teens that went into the military bunker. It was in 1994. And the teens that went missing in the military bunker. It was in present day in 2024 we learned about all the characters. It was Devin, Cece, Frankie, Trey, Alex, and CJ. So Devin and Cece's father, Anthony Brewer, the botanist, and Alex's mom, Jen, and Anthony's mom, and Trey's father was involved into this as well. So we had 4 parents involved into this whole thing, and so Anthony was working in the basement. He began working on the plants, and then he got something on his hand with the plants and all that stuff, and it's pretty cool. And so I thought this was pretty good. So this episode, I thought it was a pretty good way to start the whole thing of season 2. So I rate this episode 5 out of 5 stars. Monster Blood. Yeah, Monster Blood. I thought it did a pretty good story of telling Devin and Cece's backstory and all that stuff. Devin and Cece. Yeah, I mean, so 1 month ago, Devin and Cece were back home before they moved to Gravis in Brooklyn. I forgot to mention, season 1 took place in Port Lawrence. This one took place in Gravis in Brooklyn. So this is more about Cece's storyline. So Cece has been lying about debate camp. Yeah, I know, the whole episode. And so she has a drink about kombucha. In the bathroom mirror, kombucha combines and it turns into monster blood. And in the mirror and all that stuff, and I thought it did pretty good. And the fight scene on the train and all that stuff, and I thought it did pretty good. So I read this episode 4.5 out of 5 stars. But it's pretty good. The girl next door, so called the ghost next door. I know. I thought it did pretty good. I told the backstory of the 4 teens and Anthony and John. And it was Trey's father, and yeah, so I thought, yeah, so they sold this on DVD. Yeah, so it was on the VHS, as they saw on like DVD and all that stuff, and they sold backstory of it back in 1984, and so I rate this 5 out of 5 stars. Found it pretty good. So welcome to Camp Nightmare. This one told another backstory. The story of on episode 6 there was a counselor's backstory. And this one told the backstory of Ramona and her father. Yeah, Ramona was the villain of season 2. Yeah, Ramona captured Anthony and trapped him in a pond, and she just wanted to get her father back. So the counter's backstory is from back in 1968, and Ramona's backstory was from back in 1969. Yeah, I know. So this episode gets 4.5 out of 5 stars. So my last episode of season 2 was episode 8, Invasion of the Body Squeezers. They didn't call it Invasion of the Body Squeezers, but I'm calling it Invasion of the Body Squeezers because it's dealing with aliens and all that stuff. They did this in the first Goosebumps movie. Yeah, the first one from 2015. And season 2 there was the aliens and all that stuff, and I thought this episode was a great conclusion to the whole series and all that stuff, to the season. Yeah, so we won't be. So unfortunately, you guys, we won't be getting season 3 because they canceled the show. I know they canceled it. I know they canceled the show. I know they canceled it, and so Invasion of the Body Squeezers, we had 4.5 out of 5 stars, specifically 5 out of 5 stars. So those are my best episodes, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed them. So you guys, so now I'm going to be talking about the worst episodes of the show. Well, yes, I know the best episodes. I already did them now during the worst episodes of the show. Yeah, I know season 1 had 10 episodes. Season 2 was shorter from last season. I know season 2 had 8 episodes. And season 1 was Sages and Die, The Haunted Mask, Cuckoo Clock of Doom, Go Eat Worms, Reader Beware, Nightly Dummy, Give Yourself Goosebumps, You Can't Scare Me, Nightly Dummy Part 2, and Welcome to HorrorLand. This season was Stay Out of the Basement, Part 1 and Part 2, and The Haunted Car, and The Monster Blood, and The Boy Who Cried Monster, and The Girl Next Door, or specifically The Ghost Next Door, Welcome to Camp Nightmare, and finally, episode Invasion of the Body Squeezers. They didn't name the episode, but they know it's specifically called Invasion of the Body Squeezers because I know because there's aliens in it. So season 1, the only 2 episodes I hated were like Reader Beware and like Give Yourself Goosebumps. Some sort of a Reader Beware. This one, it was a whole like story of Margot and all that stuff. I know. Yeah, I know Margot is the friend to Isaiah. She's like the next door neighbor to Isaiah, and her parents were like separated. Her mom, Sarah, was in Seattle, while her father, Colin, was having a affair with Lucas's mom, Nora. And so about the whole love affair with Colin and Nora was like completely unnecessarily. I didn't even like it. As I hated the whole like mental institution like whole thing, and I yeah. Hi, yeah. This one did a first part of telling the backstory of Harry Biddle. The only thing I liked about this episode is about how they started the storyline of Harry Biddle and all stuff, the backstory and all that stuff. But besides from that, I didn't really like this episode. Yeah, I didn't really like this episode. I thought this episode was not pretty good. Not a good story, and not a good storyline and all that stuff. And so I rate this episode 1 out of 5 stars. Second one is Give Yourself Goosebumps, which was episode 7. Episode 5 and 7 were the only two ones I did not like. Episode 7, I thought this episode didn't really do anything. It was just with the teens and Nathan and all stuff. They were trapped inside the Biddle house, and they did absolutely nothing throughout this episode. Yeah, they did absolutely nothing. They were just there, and and it was stuck inside the scrapbook, and they were trying to get out. They were using ropes and all that stuff. They were climbing down to an audience room, and they saw ventriloquist dummies. The only thing I liked about that episode was the dummies and all that stuff, and Nathan and all that stuff. But however, this episode was so terrible. This one did absolutely nothing. Yeah, I know. Yeah, so this one did absolutely nothing. So I rate this one 0 out of 5 stars. 0. Because this episode didn't do anything. This episode did nothing. And this one did nothing. And a Biddle and Brat, the teens, and there were some little things I liked about the episode. But besides from that, I didn't really enjoy the episode. Of episode 7 from season 1. I didn't really enjoy the episode. I didn't really enjoy it. So so now let's get to season 2. Yeah, the first one is the haunted car. I didn't really like the story of Alex and all that stuff. I know Alex was a carjacker, and I know there was a whole backstory of her being in stuck in juvie and all that stuff, and Alex was stuck in juvie, and her whole storyline of being a carjacker, so completely terrible. I don't really like her characterization at all. I don't really like Alex at all. I don't really like her characterization, and so and Murph and all that stuff, and with the mom and all that stuff, and I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't really like it. So I read this episode 2.5 out of 5 stars. 2 out of 5 stars. Didn't enjoy the episode. The second one is The Boy Who Cried Monster. This was episode 5. This one was CJ's storyline. CJ was a delivery driver, and he was doing deliveries. And I do like CJ's storyline. I do like CJ. CJ is a really funny guy in the whole show. But the whole episode and the story and all that stuff, it's so like terrible. I know this was supposed to be called like The Girl Who Cried Monster, and it's called The Boy Who Cried Monster. I didn't know, and his mom and all that stuff. His mom gets so tired of CJ telling all these like zombie like stories and all that stuff. His mom doesn't like it. His mom doesn't like it when CJ starts telling like monster stories, like the original when Lucy told monster stories, and this one's CJ. So CJ went to Anthony's home. So his eye and all that stuff, his eye was cut off, and then he went to tell his mom about it, and then his mom fired CJ for his delivery job because she didn't believe him. So this episode about the storyline and all that stuff was completely terrible. I thought it was awful. I mean, so I rate this episode 1 out of 5 stars. 1 out of 5. Don't really enjoy this episode. But besides from all this, I really enjoyed the new Goosebumps TV series. I enjoy it. I didn't think it was that bad as people would believe it to be. I didn't think it was that bad. I didn't think it was terrible. I actually enjoyed it. And and I know that I'm sad this show got canceled. I know a lot of people are very upset about all this. But although these were my worst episodes of the show, first did best, now I did worst. So these are my best and worst episodes of the show, of the whole show, of the new Goosebumps TV series reboot from 2023 for 2025 for season 1 for season 2. And so those completely hits. And so overall, I hope that you guys have enjoyed it. Overall, I hope that you guys enjoyed my best and worst episodes ranking. My best and worst episode rankings from the newest live action Goosebumps TV series reboot from best to worst from 2023 for 2025 for season 1 for season 2 The Vanishing, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed my episode rankings from the newest live action Goosebumps TV series reboot, and and I hope that you guys have enjoyed them. So final conclusion, thank you guys for enjoying my episode rankings from best to worst from the newest live action Goosebumps TV series reboot from 2023 for 2025 for season 1 for season 2 The Vanishing from The Vanishing, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed them. And also don't forget to like and comment and share and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys the next time. And And goodbye, everyone. See you soon.